Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. I hope you enjoy. Story number 1, Demons Awoken, written by Lone Donut. There is a human saying, to beat your plowshares into swords, your pruning shears into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Our research has missed old religious texts in our scanning of their culture, and how could we not? There was not real need to research archaic beliefs. The Soul Confederacy was easy prey, a species that had focused on science and not war. They built grand research stations in orbit of their planet, colonized their oversized moon, and spread to the 4th planet in their system. The most they had were patrol ships to keep off the odd criminal, but no warships, no soldiers. They focused on rehabilitation and re-education of their worst people. They were pacifists, and they were ripe for enslavement. Our ships had arrived, and they broadcast on all known subspace channels, reaching out to the void to greet us, to welcome us to their home. They assumed that we came in peace, to meet them as equals. They were excited. As the first of our cruisers took up orbit, we fired upon their homeworld, launching their space elevators from their moors and pushing them out of orbit. Their capital city was burned from orbit, and their meager defenses were crushed. Our breachhead was built on their home, and their people were enslaved, to strip the spinning blue gem of its resources for our empire. Their moon fell next, and we grew complacent. We figured we had them. So why would we push? We were wrong. The first sign of trouble came from a drone carrier, which suddenly went silent. Communication errors happen, so we considered nothing of it. Next, a camp on the surface went blank, so we were sent soldiers to explore. We found our men and women dead, some looking so shocked in their chairs, it was as if the attacker had materialized from nowhere. We now sent boarding troops to the carrier. However, they never made it. Its fighter and bomber complement turned on us. We shot it down, watched it as it crashed to the surface, and we figured that enough, that this little rebellion would end. Again, we were wrong. Mining and cargo ships from planets called Mars arrived, but they did not carry goods. Their mining drones swarmed the ships, punching holes in their hulls and stripping the atmosphere away. We watched in horror as the bodies of our comrades floated into space. Our losses were now mounting. Even as we destroyed their rigged-up attack craft, we paid for every kill with blood. I was on Earth when I saw the horror we had awoken firsthand. A mining exosuit walked down the street, armor strapped to it in an ad hoc way, turning a tool into a weapon. Carried in its hands were our weapons. And, as a lone assailant advanced towards me, shrugging off energy weapons and ordnance, only a lucky hit brought it down. Still, the rebel climbed from his armor, and I saw his eyes, not those of a captured pacifist, but those of a killer. We learned later the man had been a chemical engineer, never served with the patrols, and had built the suit himself in private. We assumed he had snapped. Surely the humans couldn't go from pacifists to warriors. They were a peaceful species. But we dug into their archives. We learned their history, the monsters that we had happened upon. But now they had 300 years of peace and prosperity to build new technologies. And with them, we learned what they could do. It was called a military-industrial complex. The ability to turn any technological marvel into a weapon was no unique. But the way in which they did it was. Most species develop nuclear energy before they develop nuclear weapons. Humanity had done the reverse. Their chemical rockets were not made to deliver them into space, but adapted from weapons to do so. After they had turned those weapons on themselves, they had learned to find peace, quelled their demons. We had reawoken those demons, and given them more technology than ever before to do it. Their ability to strip materials to energy to convert it back to raw matter had been used to mine without destroying massive areas of land, and to build ships of exploration and peace. Now those fleet yards orbiting a planet we thought was an easy picking. They cranked out warships in bulk that we had never seen. Hardware meant for construction and rescue was now used to armor troops to attack. One armored assailant became hundreds, then thousands. Our own ships were captured, reverse engineered, and then turned on us. We watched in horror as our slaves became boogeymen. Our hope had been to glass the planet, to hand them a defeat, but we never got the chance. One by one, our legions fell. Once our ships were controlled by them, and our communications with our home severed, we were brought before them. We learned of their rules of war, what they would do to prisoners, and how we would be treated. We didn't expect the mercy we gained, nor do we deserve it, I'm sure. After all, we would not afford them the same. I was treated to a tribunal and told that I was to be held accountable for my crimes and the crimes of my people, and my execution ordered. Led to a small room, I was hooked up to IVs and promised that it would be painless. As they added the chemicals to my veins, I could only think of my home and hope that they could forgive me for awakening humanity. I could only pray that one day these beasts would return their swords to plowshares, and the warriors would rest again. The galaxy can only hope. End of story. Story number 2, Tunnel Vision, written by DM of the Tomb. Personal letter translated posthumously from civilian Adark Epi to the 7th Galactic Senator, Apex Lorne Oyen, during the human immigration crisis post-first contact. Have you ever seen a human in person? I don't mean the humans who tiptoe and jump through hoops to appeal to you during negotiations. I mean real humans. Humans out there living in their lives like anyone else. The ones who you lock up. Ever since first contact, you have written out policy after policy with the intent of limiting the humans, to brand them as outcasts. They are a very young race, and yet achieved FTL in a fraction of the time it took us. Sure, simple concepts to us are new and advanced to them, but they can learn, and they are learning, even now, just as we did so long ago. But you seem to fear they are too quick to learn. You say the fact they advance so quickly is precisely why they must be segregated. But I believe you are simply afraid of their potential. Because maybe you have realized that they are not fast. We are just slow. But why is that? Why are humans who you seem intent on keeping away so quick to learn, so persistent in their endeavors, so bold risk-takers? I've spent time among the humans, in the camps which you detained them, away from their friends and family. Many crossed into Alliance's space and were caught, so you out them there to rot. But did you ever consider what it took to get that far? These humans told me their stories, told me of their families, goals, their passions in life. And after it all, I have 2 words to explain the way humans think. Tunnel vision. To a human, there is no such thing as being content where you are. There is always more to see, more to travel, more to improve, more that they can be. No single human ever stops aspiring for greatness, even if they don't know what their potential greatness is. Once a human has a goal, and they always have a goal, they will stop at nothing to pursue it. They call this tunnel vision. They will set their sights on what they want to do, and everything else around them becomes a blur. This is why the humans are faster than us. We have meandering through innovation, the majority of our population always being content to stay where they are. Meanwhile, the humans are never satisfied. It's not just 1 or 2 people working for their future per generation. It is all of them, That's why I, despite all your efforts to bar them from our borders and to brand them as dangerous, they still send envoy after envoy to negotiate with you. That's why, despite your insistence to detain and imprison any human caught within our space, they continue to face countless hardships to come here anyway, from across the stars. And those who I spoke to within your border detentions have not yet lost their passion. They have not lost sight of their goals. They still have that tunnel vision. You claim that they will invade and replace us, overwrite generations of tradition in an instant, but we are ready for the humans, ready to give them help and accept their help in return. So maybe you're just afraid that you are the one getting replaced, and that they'll take away your undeserved paycheck. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons: Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.